Hi.
Okay, I have muted everyone, but it is officially 6 o'clock, so we're going to get started. I'm going to have Stephanie get us started. Stephanie, are you there?
I'm here. Can you see me?
I can. All right.
Okay. Am I unmuted?
Yes, fine.
Okay, great. Thank you, everybody, for joining Sky Angels Live webinar tonight with our guest speaker, Nicole. My name is Stephanie, and I'm the founder of Sky Angels. And right now, I just wanted to share something. I'm sitting in my car, which is one of my biggest perks about being a Sky Angel, is that I'm not in a cubicle. And I've had a really fun and exciting day today. I started with a trail run and then a swim in the river and a yoga class, and then I spent the rest of the day doing shopping for a flight. I'll be on a 10-day trip going out to the East Coast and out to Europe, and I'll be visiting Milan and Paris and London. And yeah, I mean, the life of a Sky Angel is just so wonderful, and Nicole is going to share top tricks for really wowing the private jet traveler. Nicole has been with Sky Angels as our trainer for 9 years now. She was one of my very first students to attend Sky Angels Sky Academy. And the points that Nicole will share with you, whether you are a corporate flight attendant looking to become one, or just dealing with hospitality and in-flight, or hospitality and service, customer service, the tips and tricks that she's going to share with you will be beneficial through all aspects of your life. So I'm really excited for her to share her wealth of knowledge, because she's been so successful as a Sky Angel in private aviation. So Nicole, go ahead and take it from there.
Great, thank you. Okay, so just really quick, I've muted everybody. And so I'm just gonna have you muted for the call. I am gonna record this, so it's gonna be on our website for you to view in the future, but I would love to see all your faces. So if you have cameras and you'd like to show yourself, I would love to be more interactive with all of you as well. I see Kelsey. Hi, Kelsey. Michelle, I see you. Debbie. Hi, Debbie. I see someone just called iPhone. And a couple other people that are, I can't see your audio, your visual faces. Keely. Hi, Keely. So anyway, if you do want to show your video, that's fine. And then again, we'll be putting it on the call. And then after I'm speaking, I'm going to do a quick Q&A. So definitely stay tuned for that. So keep your questions till the very end, and then we'll be able to chat a little bit more about what I'm talking about. So yes, like Stephanie mentioned, I have been with Sky Angels since our inception, which is super exciting. I love training. I love my job. Obviously, I've been in it for almost 10 years. And just really quickly, before I get started, I just wanted to share that one of the reasons I love training is because I just didn't know anything going into this industry. I worked in finance. I had no background in aviation. I had no background really in the service industry. So coming in and learning the things I learned through Sky Angels and training has just been so monumental in my success that it's just exciting to help other people really catapult their career in a way that I just didn't know how I could do. And the combination of all of Stephanie and myself, both of our experience together, we really come and we help you just go from not knowing anything to a combination of 20 years of experience. So it's been very exciting working with Stephanie, and it's been exciting learning and coming into this industry. So I was definitely one of the worst students. So if I can still be here in this industry, it's definitely something that you all can do if that's something that you're interested in. So with that said, in the last 9 years, I've probably had several different people tell me they want to hire me back for flights for a couple different reasons, and I'm just going to funnel those in to 3 really main key points. So whether you are in private aviation already or you're trying to get into this industry, these are all things that you can start utilizing every single day, whether you're on flights or not. So I hope you have a notepad. because they're really tangible and they're things that you can start practicing today. So the first thing I want to talk about is your energy and your presence. So this is so important. If you've ever gone to a party, there's always been that one person that walks into the room and you're like, who are they? I want to meet them. Who is that person, right? They are exuding a type of presence in that room that just makes you want to get to know them. The same thing about people when you walk down the street and all of a sudden you kind of feel this danger inside of you and you know that maybe there's something dark going on and you know that you need to avoid that person. Presence and energy is so important. And specifically in private aviation, this is a key factor in being able to have a long-standing career. Because on a private flight, you're in a very small quarters. I mean, you're practically touching each other while you're serving drinks and you're moving around, you're bumping into each other. So if you are not exuding a positive, confident energy, then they're not really sure why they don't want to fly with you again. They just don't want to. So there's a couple things that we can do right now to shift that energy in the right direction. The first thing is your science has proven that when you smile and you exude happiness, it actually changes your emotional and physiological state. So a smile, whether you feel it or not, actually is changing your emotions. And so when you're changing your emotions into a more positive feeling, it also is going to be affecting the people around you. Smiling is really important. And how do you exude more confidence? Well, this is something I do not just when I started, but it's something I still implement today. I'm huge on checklists. I'm huge on writing everything out. When I'm nervous, I don't want that nervous energy to show, so I put it all on paper. So for example, I'm going to show you, this is from my actual flight full book that I still use. This is an example of one of the things I do for every flight. So you can see here, I write down, I have all the things I need to buy from different I buy this at Whole Foods, I'm buying this at a grocery store, I'm buying this at the Ivy in Beverly Hills. Then I write down my checklist of what I'm doing for the day up. I'm waking up I'm doing my laundry at 6:30 and packing. I have breakfast, I leave. When I'm showing up at the grocery store, when I'm showing up at the hangar, what restock items I need to do, what I need to clean, items that I need to get. So all of these things that might be flustering in my mind that could potentially block me from showing confidence, I just write them down. And there's something magical about taking your anxiety and shifting it into paper that frees up your energy to just be more calm and peaceful, and your clients feel it. Not only is it important that your clients feel it, but your pilots need to feel it too. And so from the moment you get onto an aircraft, everyone is looking at you and seeing if this is someone that we can work with in the future. And that includes the pilots. And this is something that I really instill in all the Sky Angels. As a Sky Angel, we want to never be included in negativity. Sometimes you might be in a coworker situation where it's fun or you're creating camaraderie off of complaining about someone or something. But I have made it my vow to never get involved in the negativity. And part of that really helps me center myself during a flight in the right positivity and allows me to just stay in this really calm, neutral place. So I don't exude in negativity. I keep a smile, and the checklist really helps with my confidence. So those are very specific, tangible ways that you can make sure that you're shifting your energy to the right place. So that's number one, your energy. Number two, you need to be irreplaceable. That sounds very weird, right? How do I become irreplaceable? Well, in order to be irreplaceable, people need to feel like you're magic. They need to feel like there's something that you can give to a flight that no one else can give. A perfect example of this would be, I have a client that I fly that loves locks. He wants locks on all his flights. Now, I could just go to the store and get a package of locks. But if someone's actually telling me they really love something, I'm gonna do some real extra research and find the best place to get it. Now, I did research on my guest as well, because I research every single person I fly. I go on my computer and I spend time looking on Wikipedia and looking at all their social media and find out as much information as I can know about them. So before I even meet them, I'm giving them a very personalized experience. So I'm looking for locks. I'm finding different places. I find out that he's Jewish. So great. I'm going to go to a Jewish deli and I'm going to find the most fresh, best locks in town, which I do. And the thing is that the assistant, she didn't tell me to do any of these things. She just said he likes locks on board his aircraft. So I found out he was Jewish. I found out he liked locks. I went to a Jewish deli. I got fresh cut locks that aren't in a package. We get on the flight and he is overwhelmed. He goes, where did you get these? And at first I'm a little nervous because I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope that means he likes them. I'm like, oh, I found this Jewish deli. It's called Lenny's. It's near Beverly Hills. Oh my gosh, this is so great. He gave me the number of his chef and he said, my chef needs to get these. Can you call my chef directly and tell him where you bought these? I want them at my home, in my home. So that is creating some serious irreplaceability, that he's getting something that he's never even received from his personal chef on his flight. So those are the type of very small things that make you irreplaceable, specifically because most people, if I even told them, hey, you're going to be flying this guest, make sure you get fresh locks, they're probably going to call 2 or 3 places, be like, okay, every grocery store only sells them in a package. I guess I'll get them at a grocery store, which is fine. That's, again, a way to stay at the normalcy level. And then you come on board, he goes, oh, I want my locks. Well, are they in a package? Yes, but I went to 2 different places that couldn't find them, whatever. So now you're staying at that normalcy level. If he flies with you again, whatever, great, but you're not creating that moment where he goes, I want to fly with you again because you're giving me something that no one else has been able to give me. So they're very small, tangible things, but the thing is that when we're talking about irreplaceability, they're not necessarily going to remember the exact action that you took, but they're going to remember the feeling that you gave them. And the feeling was, I feel special, I feel taken care of, and I want that again. So those are little tiny things that you can do to master executing special requests and going above and beyond for every single flight. And that will create a magic that people will just want to fly with you. So that's number 2, be irreplaceable. So number 1 is your energy. Number 2 is being irreplaceable. And number 3 is being yourself. This sounds so contrary to social media right now because we're in a society where we're striving to get more likes, or we want more people to see us, so we're trying to duplicate what else is working. But the reality is that there is a huge need for people just want authenticity. People want people to be real and true. So if you look at me and you're like, great, I want to be successful, I want to try to be like Nicole or be like Stephanie, you're already spending too much energy trying to be something that you're not. Really, in reality, it takes a lot less energy for you to just be yourself and show up as yourself. So, and then be in that, obviously, you need the skills, you need the training, you need the certifications, all of that's bottled into you, but you are just being you. And what you are and who you are is enough to be able to serve and provide a high level of service. Again, with the skills, with the training, with all that stuff in yourself. And the thing is that the great thing about authenticity and being real is that the law of attraction says that when you are in your most rooted self, you're having more fun. And there's something about having fun that everyone wants to be a part of. So when you are having fun, it's like, I just want to be on that plane. I just want to be with that person because they're having fun with what they do. And this industry is so much fun. I'm telling you, I mean, Stephanie's got stories, I've got stories. I've been able to travel all over the world and have a really great time doing the things I love. So, you know, I get to take people that I love when it's appropriate and when I'm allowed to with me on the road. They fly and meet me, and I've gone on trips with my mom all over France, paid for. I've been able to go to Iceland, and I've been able to go to, you know, Asia and walk on the Great Wall of China and do all these things, and it's paid for. So I really do enjoy what I do, but I also bring myself with me, right? I am myself. All my guests know I'm a little weird. I'm a little quirky. And that's okay because, you know, they enjoy that presence. So those are really 3 important things. I do want to touch on number 1 again when it comes to your energy and your presence. There are times when I don't want to be happy, and there are times when I'm really not in a good place. I remember my grandfather passed away when I was on a flight, and he's like one of the most dearest people to my heart. And I spent the whole night crying, and I was like, oh. But then the next day I had to get on a flight, and I had a whole tour of people that I was flying back home. And no one wants to know that I'm in a bad place in my life. No one wants to know any of that stuff. They just want to be served and enjoy their flight. So I really had to put on a smile and just hone in that energy. And it really did, you know, serve me for that short duration of flight. I was able to get through the flight and enjoy that. But these are really skills. They're skills that are hard sometimes to really hone in on. And they take practice. They take practice to find a happy place when you're not, and to go above and beyond when you're tired and you're exhausted and you don't want to. So I really encourage all of you, if you're interested in this career, or if you just want to work on your skills, these are all service skills that can benefit you in any career and in your personal life. Working on your energy, working on, you know, your irreplaceability, and really just focusing on how to bring yourself and be authentic with yourself in your daily life. And that will really serve all of you, regardless of where you are in your journey in private aviation. So that was a little, I kind of sped through those a little quickly, but mainly I wanted to open it up to some questions, and then we can kind of go into a little Q&A. So there's a couple ways that we're going to do this. You can either raise your hand. There's a comment section under chat where you can ask a question. So if you'd like to either comment or raise your hand, I am here to answer any questions that any of you have about Sky Angels or career, traveling, etc. So anything, I'm going to open it up right now. We have a shy group. Is anyone raising their hands? I can't see everybody's visual. Michelle, are you trying to talk to me?
Nicole, you can scroll and then you can see everybody.
Okay. Michelle, were you trying to say something?
I was just going to say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Can you hear me?
I can. Where are you from?
I'm in Orange County.
Great.
Where are you from?
I live in Los Angeles, so I'm your neighbor.
Okay, fantastic.
Great. Welcome to the call.
Well, I was researching different training programs. I flew commercial 30 years ago, for Air Micronesia. Best time of my life. I've raised children, and I'm thinking about going into corporate business travel just because I have friends that have private planes, and I'm ready to go play and have fun.
Great. I love it.
So I just was doing this, and I wanted to hear a little bit about, well, now you have questions. I guess really what I wanted to know was some of the training. I can't see you anymore.
I'm looking at you. You're on the big screen.
Okay.
Training.
Sorry. Some of the training and what that involves, and what kind of certificates.
Absolutely.
And, I know. Truly, what I wanted to know is my market infiltrated? Is it too saturated down here in Orange County?
So that's a really great question. I'm going to just, Michelle. So there's two questions you had. What is the training, and is the industry too saturated in Orange County? So about our training, we have a training. We do it once a month. It's Monday through Friday in our training facility in Santa Rosa Airport. And we go through everything. We go through the service portion, we go through the emergency portion. We really go and walk you through every single part of what it takes to do a flight and handle lots of different types of situations. So I love that our training is small, it's intimate, it's hands-on, and we walk you through every single portion of it. So it's a longer training than most of them, but it's because we want to give you that extra skill set. You can really leave feeling super confident on your very first flight, being able to really wow your guests. Your second question is Orange County saturated? Yeah, I would say yes and no. So here's the thing. There are a lot of people that want to be doing what we're doing. But here's the catch. There are not a lot of people that do it well. I'm going to repeat that again. There are not a lot of people that are in this industry doing the type of things that I just discussed right now, going above and beyond, making yourself irreplaceable, being yourself, bringing a positive energy and presence, like really honing in and being the best service professional as possible. If you do that, yes, there is tons of people that need that are interested in your skills. Okay, so I'm going to, there is someone that still needs to be muted. Okay, I'm going to mute you again. Okay, hi. Anne, can you mute yourself?
Nicole, if you click on the manage, you can mute the people on the left-hand side.
Okay, there we go. Okay, she's muted. Okay, all right. So I'm going to answer some questions I've had on the chat. Okay, tell us about our major mistake. Okay, that's from iPhone, so I don't actually know who that person is. But yes, when it comes to mistake, I am the queen of mistakes. I have made so many mistakes on aircraft and in my career, and which is one of the reasons why I love to train, because I've done them all, right? And I've been able to survive. Just one that's coming off the top of my head. I remember a client came in and brought a very, very expensive bottle of wine. I'm talking like almost $1,000 bottle of wine, one bottle of wine. Oh my gosh, I come on, miss like brand new, don't know anything, and I break the cork in the bottle of wine. Oh my gosh, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I literally was floored. But here's the thing about mistakes. If you do it once, maybe you'll lose your job, but you can never do it again. And so I went home, Keely's laughing. I went home, actually, Stephanie did. She went to Trader Joe's and she bought me boxes of 2-buck chuck and just had me sit there and open wine. And I did. And that's the thing that I'm talking about right here. The difference between making a mistake, being super apologetic, trying to find a solution that you can. I'm so sorry. This is what we have on board now. Smile, right? Oh, I'm so sorry. and never making it again. So my learning curve has been really, really good because I take all my faults and I learn from them. So that's just one of my thousands of mistakes I've made. So thank you for asking. Okay.
And just to tie back in, Nicole, with your whole speech today, that really ties back into one, being yourself, and one, your energy, right? Had Nicole broken down and broken into tears, that energy is going to feed onto the client, right? So it's really how you carry yourself in the mistakes that either creates it into a really large mistake or something that we're normal humans and we're going to make mistakes. So don't make a mistake bigger than what it needs to be. Apologize, provide a solution, and then move forward. Don't let it beat you down to the point that you just stop actually serving the guests. And we've seen that happen. And so it's just really important that you come back to that number one of like your energy and your smile.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Stephanie, because I've had plenty of reasons to cry on an aircraft, and I've never lost it on an aircraft. I keep my cool, I keep my composure, and that keeps the energy flowing in the positive direction. Okay, we have another question. How long did it take for you to actually become a Sky Angel with all the schooling and training? So I was, like Stephanie mentioned, I was her very first student 9 years ago. And I was working in finance. So I had a full-time job. In finance, I had a lot of flexibility because I was on commission. So, and which is one thing I recommend, don't get certified and quit your job. Sometimes it's going to take a little bit of time for you to land your first flight. And then when you land your first flight, depending on, again, the way you present yourself and the skill sets that you have and how hard you work and etc., you might not get another flight right away. So I kept my full-time job. I flied as much as I could until all of a sudden I was flying more than I was working. And then at that point, it was too hard to take on financial clients anymore because I was gone so much. And at that point, I quit my job and started flying full-time. I hope that answers your question. The schooling and training I had, I've always been with Sky Angels. I have done other emergency trainings, but the service skills are definitely everything I've learned and have continued to teach at Sky Angels. Okay, odd fact. I live in Medford, Oregon, and I'm wanting to know if I would be able to do this career without relocating. So obviously, if you're in a larger city, there's going to be more opportunity, but there are private aircraft all over the United States. Medford is probably closest to, depending on how comfortable you feel with commuting. Sometimes I've done flights all the way down to San Diego, and I live in Los Angeles. And when I first got started, I expanded my area to make myself more accessible for flights. And as I started getting to know people and people getting to know me, I really honed it in, and now I work in a smaller area. But if you're open to commuting for flights, then I think that you can definitely fly from where you are, especially if you're okay with the Bay Area, different airports in Southern Oregon as well. And there's more information out there when you go to research on the web that can help you look into that as well. Okay, thank you. Thank you. And your energy. Yes, thank you, Keely. Have you ever had to deal with an emergency? That is from Bree. Where is Bree? Oh, I can't see her lovely face. Okay, so yes, I have had emergencies on board. Sometimes they've been just real quick. The pilot says, "Hey, we might have to do a landing beforehand because there's weather issues at the airport." Other times it's been my fault, right? So back to issues I've had because of me. I have had a fire on board an aircraft. What? Yes, that is correct. I am not perfect. I've had lots of mistakes. And we did not have to do an emergency landing. I was able to pull the circuit breaker, and we were able to contain that fire. It was on in an oven. If you join training, I tell you a lot more information about all my emergency problems and all my fire issues. But yes, I've had emergencies, and that's why it's really, really important that you take your emergency portion of your certification very seriously, because you're not just a service professional, you're in charge of the safety and well-being of every person on board. And so we focus 2 days specifically on your emergency skills, because we want you to be very, very successful in that. And I think, to my knowledge, we're the only school that actually makes you go into a real life water situation. And I believe we have some students, graduates on here that have done that instead of a nice warm pool. So we try to make the emergency portion as real life as possible. So if you were ever in that situation, you instantly feel a little bit more prepared for that than if you were jumping in a nice warm pool practicing your water ditching, stuff like that. Okay. Have you ever had to deal with angry customers that didn't like you? Do you choose your schedule when you want to fly? So that's a really great question. So have I dealt with angry customers that don't like me? Absolutely. Absolutely. There are definitely people that I don't jive with. But how am I going to handle that? And how am I going to just get through the flight? Right? And just maintain my composure and know that the flight's only 30 minutes longer or whatnot, and just continue the flight as professional as I can. Those type of people, I personally choose to not fly with again, because my life is short and there are other people that do enjoy my company that I don't need that type of energy in my life. As far as my schedule is concerned, I fly right now with one individual. When I first got started, I flew charter. When you're flying charter, you could potentially be on different aircraft with different people. And I like that because I had a little bit more fluid schedule. I could take a flight or not take a flight. I was more on call, which meant that I didn't know how much money I was going to be making, but I made a daily rate. And at SkyAngels, our daily rate is $550. So if you can imagine, I've got to get a couple days a month. I was pretty set. Now I fly for one individual, and that's called Part 91. When you fly Part 91, you're on salary. So I only fly for one individual, and whenever he wants me to fly, I fly with him. And regardless of how much I fly, I make the same amount of money. But sometimes it's, depending on what type of lifestyle you want. I have benefits. I know how much money I'm making every month. And I have a little bit more structure. It's hard to say that when this industry feels very unstructured to other people, but it feels very more structured to me. So yes, that kind of answers that question. Do you get a job after training? What is it like as far as getting called last minute for flights? Does that happen often? Does that depend on arrangement you have with your employer? So just to be clear, Elaine, so there are so many different ways that you can get a job. We go over that in our training. We have a whole portion of our training that's dedicated just to explain to you the complexities of the job industry. We will help you with your resume. We will help you, seek out how to find a job, because it is a very complex industry. But to just answer your question, the more available you are, the more likely you are you're going to get a flight. Now, there are times that I get called for a flight that's in 3 months, not 3 months, like 3 weeks, a month away. Great. There are times, and this happened, I'm at the grocery store buying purple hair dye to dye my hair purple for Halloween, and I get a call and they're like, hey, can you be at the airport in 3 hours? And I'm like, yes, not dyeing my hair, getting in the car and driving straight to the airport. And that happens too. But the great thing is that if you're available and you can say yes, people will call you more. So you need flexibility in your life. Any tips or resources you recommend to keep improving your skills? So if you join Sky Angels, we have a private networking page that people are continuing to share insights, culinary skills, different stuff like that. If you're not a part of that network, there's networking events for people in the industry that you can check out on the MBAA and different aviation sites. Lots of different, there's a conference that you can go to and network with people. Lots of culinary skills. I would recommend getting culinary magazines, watching cooking shows. So much of what you do has to do with food. Practice making food, practice having parties and serving people, and timing yourself. Time how long it takes for you to prepare food, prep food, make it look good, and test out those skills so you're already feeling really comfortable in the kitchen. Did you use websites like Fly Contract to find jobs? Or did you find that in-person networking is more effective? Great question. I have personally never used Fly Contract, but I know a lot of people do, and that's been successful for them. There is no one way to find a job. I've had Sky Angels tell me, straight from training with zero experience, they went into an FBO, which is like a terminal, gave the front desk their resume, and the front desk said, oh, we don't normally take resumes. And literally that night, they called and said, someone just came up and asked if we had any cabin attendants available, and I gave them your resume, and then they booked their first flight. So there is not one way that you can find work, but definitely putting yourself online is helpful. I always really caution when you're online, specifically on things like LinkedIn. If people are asking you inappropriate questions, if they're asking for things that don't feel comfortable to you, that is not appropriate, and that's not what is industry standard. So just be careful when you're online about who you're networking with and what they're asking and questioning you about. Make sure you feel safe in those spaces. Okay, I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Chaya, do you budget specific to shop for each client prior to boarding? Can you please share what you do on your flight destination? Okay, so really great question. Most guests will have some type of thing that they want on board as far as a catering request. If they're asking for a catering request, that is included in the amount that you're getting reimbursed for. So something really important to know is when you're first getting started on in this industry, you will need to use your personal credit card. So if you do not have good credit, you need to start working on your credit. I would highly advise not using a checking account or a debit account because some clients reimburse at later dates than others. But you will, either shop for the catering yourself, which I personally like to do, or you will order it from a catering company. When you're on the road, your hotel, your food, your transportation, all that stuff is included. It's all paid for when you're on the road. And a lot of times you're charging that to your credit card. If you don't have enough money, like I didn't have a huge credit line, I always asked the pilots if I could charge my hotels to their credit card when I first got started while I was building my credit. But those are really important questions and things to know. Do you recommend places to look on the web for charter companies in your area? Yes, there is a website that lets you search charter companies. Stephanie, what's the name?
Yeah, I'll jump in on that. So there's a website called aircharterguide.com, and it's basically like the yellow pages of private aviation. So once you're in the industry, you'll start learning who the operators are and who the brokers are and things like that. But that's a really good starting place. Not all of the operators are going to be listed on there, but it does include operators that are international also. So if you're wanting to take your career international, then you'll have a whole list of operators available both domestically and internationally. And again, that website is aircharterguide.com.
Thank you. And just something to note when you're searching through that website, Just because the company is on there does not mean they use a cabin attendant. So you want to look and see the type of aircraft they have, because sometimes it's a helicopter company, or sometimes it's a lighter jet. Now, a lighter jet is not going to need a cabin attendant. So Gulfstream, Global, stuff like that. Those are all heavier jets, and those will generally use a cabin attendant. So just keep that in mind when you're searching for and looking for companies. Okay, what is the time frame? Oh, did I skip one? Okay, no. Michelle, what is the time frame from your duty call to disembark? How long does it take to prepare your flight, and what's involved? So, Michelle, just like I mentioned before in the Be Irreplaceable, it could take you a half an hour to prepare for your flight, or it could take you a whole day. Now, that is up to you, and you could show up and perform your flight, but it won't be to the level that I'm talking about. So I don't get paid. Generally, charter, the way it works is you get paid a daily rate, and those are from your flight day to the flight day home. So every day you're on the road, whether you're flying or not, you're getting paid. Now, if I have a flight on Friday at noon, and I really want to wow those guests, you better believe on Thursday, the day I'm not getting paid, I'm getting special items, I'm, researching things, I'm doing a lot more than just the stuff I do on my actual flight day. So as far as that's concerned, endless amount of times. Christmas time, oh yeah, I'm decorating the whole aircraft. That took me a while, but they loved it and it was great. Yes, okay. What is your daily rate? So my daily rate, I'm salary now, but when I charge, my daily rate is $600 a day. And then what request for salary? So generally it depends on where you live in the country. But I've seen a salary start off around 50,000, and you can probably work your way up to about 100,000. And again, that's all negotiable. You can negotiate whether you want health insurance benefits, different stuff like that. You can negotiate different times off or on. It's all within, when you're in that interview process, you can discuss all of those things. But that's the general range. I've seen people, their daily rate start at 200. I'm telling you right now, you're not doing any of us on the call. You're not doing, what just happened? Okay. Chaya, can you, there we go. So I'm telling you right now that you're not doing anyone a benefit when you lower your, how much you're charging yourself, because that just lowers the amount that everyone else can charge. So whether you're new or not, keep your daily rate high, keep yourself competitive, and show that you're worth that. And the things I talked about today will definitely prove to them that you're worth paying that higher amount. Okay, here we go. That daily rate. Do you keep a suit pack? Oh, Debbie, I always keep a suitcase packed, always. And I always make sure it's a carry-on size. Black carry-on size is the standard for this industry. Okay, I'm gonna answer a couple more questions. What is considered inappropriate questions? I'm not quite sure what your question is.
She's talking about when you said if you're on social media platforms and it was an inappropriate question a pilot might ask.
I've had cabin attendants tell me that they wanted a picture of them in a bathing suit, or that they just stuff that just feels uncomfortable to you. To ask them personal questions about their
relationship status.
Yeah, that's inappropriate. No one needs to know if you're in a relationship or not to get a job. So anything that feels like it's inappropriate or it feels like it's crossing a line for you, again, there's a lot of people out there that might not be really in this industry that you just need to be really careful. and just don't ever feel like you need to go beyond anything that is out of your comfortability.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not professional business-oriented questions, then you kind of know that somebody's fishing more for a date rather than a cabin attendant.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what is the most you've ever had to put on a credit card? How much free time do you get? Okay, so the most I've ever put on a credit card was probably like $7,000 to $10,000 in a month. And that was when I was out of the country in Europe or something for like 3 weeks, which is a pretty long flight for me. And it was hotels, catering, all that stuff. And I was putting it all on my credit card. Now, generally you try to get reimbursed within 30 days. So, that's a lot to hold on a credit card, but that's not normal. Generally it's a couple thousand for me, but every client's different. And some companies have company credit cards. So now that I'm on salary, I have a company credit card that has a whatever limit it is. So nothing even gets charged to me at all. I just charge it to the company card and don't have to deal with it anymore. Okay, last question. Oh, how much free time do you get off when you're on salary? Every client's different. So I had a client before I took this job that wanted to hire me, and I asked, and he did a ton of Asia, ton of international, and I didn't want that job because I knew it was going to be gone more. With this client that I'm flying, I'm probably gone 10 to 14 days out of the month, which is about half the month. And sometimes it changes. I'm home this whole week. I don't have any flights this week. And then next week I'm going to be gone for 5 days. And then it really varies. Everyone's schedule is different. But those are questions you can ask when you're interviewing with someone. You can ask them typically how much they're generally on the road. Okay, one more question. How worthwhile is plane-specific training? For example, Gulfstream 550 training after doing initial training. So when you're getting our certification, it's for Gulfstream as well. So you are getting trained for that aircraft. We do Gulfstream training as well. Some clients will want you to have specific training, and if that's the case, then that's something that they can help you pay for or provide. You can always ask them for that if they're interested in you. But in my personal opinion, getting the standard emergency training that we offer is what all, the facts, the caps, all the different ones, they're going through the same type of information that we're going through, and that's recognized through nationwide. Okay. One more came in, and then we're gonna go into a couple short other things. Is it common to have more jobs with clients that want you to just work with them? In my personal experience, I've worked with several people throughout like a year-long process where I have created a relationship with them, and then they request me back and I fly with them. And that's really nice because I know when I was doing charter, I knew I had some stability with brokers and clients that really loved me and that I flew with until I was in a place in my life where I wanted to be on a full-time certificate. So I don't know what's really common. Some people get hired through a charter company and then they just work with them. So there is so many different types of ways that you can kind of work your career, and you just gotta do what you think fits best for you, or just take the first job and then see how that feels and then move from there and see where things start moving towards. So great question, Audrey. So it sounds like there's a lot of new people in this call. So I definitely want to let you know that if you are interested in joining Sky Angels, I'm going to hand this off to Stephanie, and she's going to share really quickly some brief steps that you can take to move forward in your career. So, Stephanie?
Perfect. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you for that wealth of information. I just love listening to you teach, because it's true that you're just so passionate about it and you really care that people are being their best selves. And I just really appreciate and admire that about you. And I even took notes. Yes, I took notes, because those are just good pointers for us all to remember. And they're things that we can take, like I said, into really any career. And if we stop learning, then we stop growing. So I never, even as the founder of Sky Angels and CEO of Sky Angels, I never stop trying to learn so that I can grow and be a better cabin attendant, better Sky Angel, and better trainer for all of our students that come through. And I think that's one thing that I really love about the Sky Angels community that we've created, is that we are really passionate about your success. And I think, you know, if you were to speak to any of our Sky Angels, they would agree that we really have your back. And it is a community, and that our success, or your success, is our success. And because of that, we are the only training academy that actually vets our students prior to accepting them into the program. And the reason that we go about doing it that way is because what we're really looking for is somebody who has the passion and the drive to really succeed in this industry, because it is a very challenging industry, while it's also very exciting. And as you probably have gathered from Nicole's Q&A, that there's just so many variables around this industry, and it's not always even though it's maybe an industry you desire, it might not actually be a good fit for your personality. And so we look for those things, because that's such an important factor for us, is that we don't want to just accept you into the program and take your money. And so that's why we go through the vetting process. And so if this has inspired you to actually make that move towards your career as a Sky Angel, there's one way to do it, right? First, you have to go through the application process, and that application you can find on our website, which is www.flyskyangels.com, and you click on Become a Sky Angel, and that will really walk you through that process. And then there's an online application. You do have to pay at $75 to complete that application. And then once you pass that process, then we will move you into a virtual face-to-face. So it's very much like what we did today on the call. And what we're looking for there is really how you carry yourself. You know, are you articulate in your conversation? Did you show up to the meeting on time? Things like that. And then we're going to role play some scenarios with you to see how well that you troubleshoot, because part of this industry is really about how quickly you can think through problems to find a solution, because this industry moves really fast paced. And through those two processes, we really learn a lot about you, you learn a lot about us, and we both decide if we're the right fit for each other. And then if we decide that, then we accept you into the program. And like Nicole mentioned, we keep our classes small because we want to be able to give attention to all of our students, so that they feel, I guess, like they have attention from us. And not to say that training is not exceptionally hard. It is like drinking from a fire hose, but by keeping the classroom small and really making sure that the students, all the students that are there, all have the same goals and passion and drive to succeed, is what really has made Sky Angels this, you know, luxury brand. And we're a relatively new kid on the block in this industry that's been around forever. And so we've been able to make a name for ourselves because of the students that we turn out from our training academy. And so, and then, like I said, it's not just about becoming a cabin attendant. It's really about inspiring you to live your best life. And there's some students that actually go through our training program and then decide it's not really meant for them, but that they've been able to use the skills that they learned at Sky Academy to be better in the careers or the fields that they pursue. And that's really inspiring and rewarding for us too, because we support you in whichever dreams and goals that you go towards before, after, and during training. So if anybody has any questions really quickly about the application process, I can answer those. We would have shut down registration 15 days prior to the start of training, but because we're holding this call a little bit later than we had planned to, we are opening registration up for April, and we do have only 2 spots left in April. but you would have to actually apply and go through that registration process by Friday, and then register by Friday in order to be on the manual review call with Nicole on Monday or Tuesday of next week. So it looks like some questions are coming through, but I would encourage you that if this is something that has inspired you and pushed you towards kind of going outside your comfort zone and going after your goals, that we do have 2 spots left. Nicole, what was that question that came up?
I just answered it.
Okay. Did anybody else need to know the answer to that or no? Nicole, did anybody else want to know what that question and answer is? Or is everybody?
She just said, is there anything we can do to prepare for the video interview? And I just wanted to, so the video is really us just chatting with you just like this. So it's just an online interview process. So just the same type of thing that you would do if you were going into a regular interview. We're just doing it on FaceTime because we're a mobile aviation company. And so just coming prepared just with your intentions and your skill sets that you have, and being able to just answer some on-the-fly questions.
Yeah. And really, we're going to want to know what your goals are, right? Your goals coming to Sky Academy and your goals after graduation.
Yes. Great.
Any other questions? Thank you very much for taking the time. You're welcome, Audra. Thank you so much to everybody who joined the call. It's always so inspiring and fun for Nicole and I to see so many interested people who want to get into this career too. And to answer, to dive a little bit more on Michelle's question early in the beginning, is the market saturated? Yeah, are there tons of candidates that all want to fly on private jets around the world and get paid to do it? Of course. But one of the big things that we teach you at Sky Angels Sky Academy is how to actually stand out from all the others. And so through our process, through our training process, and then through the coaching that we give you for prospecting, you really do stand out. And I think that's a huge value that we add to your whole experience as you dive into your new career that does aid in your success. And we've had 2 Sky Angels that were on the call with us today, Heather and Keely, and through those processes, they've been able to be wildly successful in their career, and or been able to use these skills to be wildly professional or successful in their other businesses. In fact, Heather, oops, Kayla keeps sharing her screen.
There we go.
I don't know if anybody can still hear me, but
Yeah, we can hear you.
okay. I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, Heather the other day, just to show you the support that we have, and Nicole and I get these emails, texts, phone calls all the time. But Heather, one of our Sky Angels, is like, hey, how do I actually go about following up with this person? I haven't even heard about her. I have not heard back from them for my first response. And so we really just are there to support you and say, okay, this is the best way to approach reaching back out to that client. Here's what you should say. This is how you should follow up afterward. And so you're never really alone when you're out there. Right, Nicole?
Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why I just love our community, because before Sky Angels, I really felt alone. And, I think there was a lot of people there's a lot of people. Let me find myself again. Where did I go?
Scroll.
There's a lot of people that ask questions about professionality and behavior and stuff like that. How would anyone know what is acceptable or not acceptable if you don't have a community that you can reach out to and say, hey, this happened. Is this okay? They asked me this, da, da, da. So thank you so much for being interested. And thank you so much for really taking the time for yourself to better yourself and learn about hopefully an exciting new career that I hopefully will see you all in training at.
Yes, and our April training, we're wrapping up at 7 o'clock now, but our April training starts April 15th to the 20th. And like I said, if you want to be the lucky candidates to fill those last 2 spots, just make sure that you submit your application within the next day or two, and that we are expediting that whole process to make sure that anybody who applies from this call is expedited, so that you don't miss that opportunity to start your career this month. So that's it. I want to be respectful of everybody's time, so I'm going to say goodbye and thank you so much for joining, and I'll let Nicole end it officially.
Okay, bye ladies. Use the promo code April Soar High. That's April Soar High for a $10 discount on your application fee. And we'll look forward to hearing from you. Bye.
Bye.